Look, a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur, everybody. It's really there. I'm telling you, it's really there. Isn't that amazing? It's not fake at all. It looks so real. It's a dinosaur. I'm sorry. I heard that, not so much heard as much as observed that when people put really fake looking dinosaurs in front of a large audience, they somehow make $1 bajillion. So I was trying that. Hopefully that'll happen with this review, but maybe not, because so many god-awful Jurassic Park sequels have arrived ever since the first one, the one good film, the first Jurassic Park movie, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over, except dumber and dumber and dumber and looking more and more fake, and people are like, oh my god, a dinosaur! And they act like they haven't seen one before, especially with such terrible effects, but they keep going to it. They keep gnawing at the carcass of that franchise, and as long as you keep doing it, and you skip something like Elio, something original, get this shit out of here. Jurassic Park, man, what is this, 8 or 9? I don't even know. They're still on a stupid island. Everyone's a moron. What does it matter? What does it matter what I think? It's gonna make $1 bajillion. Unless you make the change now. You're not gonna make the change now. You're gonna go see it. What can I even say? I don't know. I'm just so done with these movies. Maybe part of it comes from I was just so blown away by that first movie. Jurassic Park is the movie I saw the most times in theaters. I'm not kidding when it's like, 5 or 6 or something. I think it was like 11 times. Like, it was so much, and part of it was there was always somebody that hadn't seen it yet, and I was the perfect age. I was like 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that, and there was always somebody that hadn't seen it yet. I'm like, well, let's go. I can see it again. And it just got to a point where I stopped watching the movie, and I turned around and I started to watch the audience, because I knew when the big surprising scenes were going to happen, and some of them were coming back to see it again, but others were there for a first time, dragged there by people saying, you gotta see it. And it was just such an amazing event. I don't need to tell you what an amazing event it was. We're still making these stupid movies years later, and for whatever reason, it's like the Dr. Seuss movies. They just don't know how to do it for some reason. They don't know how to do a Jurassic Park sequel. The closest we got, maybe, is in Jurassic World, they open the park. Okay, that's something. There's at least some whimsy to that. But every single movie, it's funny because the first one had commentary that was very obvious, but still good. It was something where you look at and say, yeah, okay, you know what they're gonna say. It's like watching Frankenstein. You know what the commentary is gonna be, but it's kind of earned the right to be that obvious because it's such a cool, unique idea, and it's taking off of ideas that I've done before, but kind of pushing it to the next level. And also making it a popcorn movie. You can take anyone to go see this movie and have fun with it and be scared by it, and the characters are just likable enough and memorable enough, and they talk about ideas and everything. And I feel like with every film, they feel like, well, we gotta do some kind of commentary. I mean, the first one we had that, so we have to do something, and at the very least, when the films got their worst, there was still some kind of idea, and the commentaries got worse and worse. There was still something that tied into dinosaurs, to nature, to something like that. This one's about healthcare. And I got this image from the ending of Big Lebowski when, they have the ashes and everything, and Walter makes the big speech. I just kind of felt like the dude is standing there saying, what's that to do with healthcare? What the hell do dinosaurs have to do with healthcare? And somehow they worked in a way to talk about how our healthcare system is out of whack and everything. Well done, Jurassic World. That'll turn us around. When the first dinosaur in this movie breaks out of a high-security lab via candy bar, you got a bad script. This is a bad script. It's from the writer of the original, David Koepp, and you know what? I took a look at his filmography, and I'm really starting to think, because I used to say, well, he's a good story man. He's good at laying out stuff in the story about what beats happen at what point, for like these big blockbuster movies. I was looking them over again, and boy, the more and more he writes, the more I realize there's really only a handful of good scripts in there. And they are good, And, they are, ones that kind of, stand the test of time. But, man, they're only a handful. And he gets further and further away from it, I feel like, with every script. These lines, I mean, it really got to a point where I was just saying out loud what the lines are. Somebody says something and I just say with the actor what the line's going to be. I'm trying to think. Let's try it. There's a scene where, they're trying to get a family that's stranded on a boat, but they're supposed to go hunt dinosaurs and stuff like that. And the guy that's running the whole thing, the charter, as he puts it, goes up to the captain. The captain's about to go save the family. And he says, "You can't do that." He's like, "I'm doing that." And he says, "But it's my charter." How does the captain respond? We're all going to say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. "It's my boat." You know that line. What's another one? When there's a dinosaur heading towards them, they're looking for this dinosaur. Again, they're on the boat. And the same guy, he says, "Oh, we found it." What's the dinosaur expert going to say on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. "It found us." It's every line you've heard a million times, and they're acting like, whoa, stand back. Just stand back. I'm knocking the camera because this is so impressive. It's going to be, "It found us." God damn, why hasn't this made $1 bajillion just on today? I mean, it's like Wednesday, it's 4th of July week. Just why hasn't it made $1 bajillion? It's amazing, it's amazing. And there's dinosaurs that look so fake and so... You know what? This movie wasn't even that bad compared to other movies I've seen. I think I am just so sick of Jurassic Park movies. I was not expecting to get this angry going into this. I think I have just... I've just reached my breaking point. It's not even like the worst one. It's bad. It's really bad, but... Gareth Edwards has once again given us a big surprise. Kind of a boring movie. But there are a handful of things that work in it. Anytime it's funny because the dinosaurs do look bad. They look really fake, which is weird because the last one, they look good. That's one of the few things I could say about the last one. The dinosaurs legit look good, and they got kind of creative with the designs too. They gave some of them feathers, and it looked like they were mixing actual practical dinosaurs with CG dinosaurs a good chunk of the time, or if not, they look good enough that you could confuse them. So, that was really something, but it's weird all these years later that they couldn't recreate what was cheaper to do, with the original dinosaurs. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not paying their effects people enough. Maybe they're just rushing them out. Maybe they're not taking the same care as the first film. Maybe it's all of it. I don't know. But whenever they're around water, like one's underwater or somebody's underwater and a dinosaur's trying to get them underwater, that stuff looks good for whatever reason. You think that would look more difficult, but maybe that's the new, rain effect in old movies where you want to hide the strings of a monster, you shot it in the rain kind of thing. And maybe that's the new thing. Maybe just the water's always the answer somehow. But again, with CG, usually the brighter and more clear it is, the better looking the effect is. And just there's so many moments where I just went, oh. I actually made that sound sometimes when I would see some of these dinosaurs, like, oh, they so don't look good. But at the very least, I'll give them that. Again, it took 20 movies to get to this point. And it should have gotten there by movie 3 or something like that. They are at least playing around a little bit with how the dinosaurs work. The idea of we're going to genetically alter the dinosaurs. I know you think, well, wait a minute, didn't they do that in Jurassic World? Yeah, but it sucked. And they did awful. They made the raptors bigger. Brilliant. Just, oh my God, the imagination behind these. I'm sorry. Maybe part of it is I see what they could do. I see the potential with this idea. I love dinosaurs. I love to see what you can do with this. I'm a little kid at heart. I want to see a theme park with dinosaurs. And when they say, well, we want to genetically alter them so they look crazier, please go crazy. Either make a film that feels kind of real, like the dinosaurs are really there, or go bonkers, go nuts. And at the very least, they go a little nuts, but never as nutty as it should. Literally, you're in this lab, and it actually has, I'll give it this too, literally the first line in the movie sums up exactly how I feel about these movies. Just the scientist says, do we have to do this? Do we have to go through this? And I'm like, man, that summed it up. But the first dinosaur you see that's frozen as genetic mutation or something, it's a dinosaur with 2 heads. And I thought, okay, now they got it. We understand it. We're going to have some fun with this. And then the dinosaur that does get out in the opening or break through the cage, whatever, is not a bad design. They show more of it later. They're building it up for later. And it's not bad. It's got like a couple arms, you know what I mean? And they flat out say, no, they did this because people were kind of losing interest, not coming to the park as much. So they had to genetically alter some just to make them look cooler. Great! And there's a great commentary on commercialism there, I think, in theme parks and everything. That, again, is pretty much there in the original. I mean, maybe that's part of it, too. All the commentary is already in the original. How much more can you do? But at least have fun with it. But that's about it. There are no other dinosaurs that really stand out or look that interesting or, again, look real. And they do this thing where they say at the beginning that dinosaurs are dying out. I don't know, I guess like the end of War of the Worlds or something like that. They're not used to the temperature change and the diseases and stuff like that. I mean, it took a while, but all right. But also, people's interest is waning. They're not interested in dinosaurs anymore. And I'm like, bull crap. Again, we are on like movie 80. And these are still making like $1 bajillion. And even if you show just the fakest, lamest, laziest looking dinosaur CG, people will see it. And I don't know why, but don't you tell me, oh yeah, people, they lost interest, whatever. No, they will. There's people that still go to like gator farms, man. I mean, gators are awesome. If I could see a gator right now, I'd be like, holy smokes. Like, they're cool. Like these, and that's an animal that's here right now. Imagine animals that have been separated by millions of years. So that I don't buy. The acting, I guess, is trying. The two actors I legit, three. There's two actors I really did connect with. And now Scarlett Johansson, I do like Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a good lead. I think she's good in action. And another one is Mahershala Ali, I think is how you say his name. He's usually very, very charming, very cool. And they have a lot of scenes together, and they work well off each other. And they're both people that can give that million-yard stare. Like, you know, they've been through stuff, but it doesn't feel put on. It doesn't feel like, you know, they're being overly dramatic. They have to just look out super serious. Like, no, they'll laugh. They'll have little jokes here and there and stuff, but you can just tell, like, no, they've seen stuff. They've gone through stuff. And it's very believable. I also like the father of this family, even though I don't like anyone else in the family. Man, as soon as I saw this family on a boat, I'm like, oh no. And then there's a stupid teen boyfriend who's like, all right, it's your turn to drive. Oh, I'm feeling tired. I don't know. Oh, we're going to do that. Oh, he's going to be fun. He's going to be so much fun. At first, I thought I was going to like the businessman who's funding this journey, this charter and everything. And because when he's trying to bring on Scarlett Johansson, the back and forth they have, I was kind of like, all right, like, I'll believe in this enough. Like, you know, what can they do to... They're both trying to get on the same page and get something out of the other, and they both play it very well. Everyone else, you know, again, I think is trying. I can't think of an actual bad performance, but with the guy I was talking about, the businessman, he comes along for the trip, which is bizarre. I don't know why he would go. He seems like he should be back at home, you know, making sure nobody knows about this trip. But the more he's on there, you know what they're going to do with him. You know, as soon as you see these characters, you know what they're going to do. You know who's going to live, who's going to die. And you're just waiting for the dinosaurs to show up. At the very least, have them look good. And they don't look good. At some moments, they have clips from the... Not clips. They have segments from the book that never made it into the movie, which is kind of neat to see. They have like a raft scene with the T-Rex. And again, that's kind of a water scene, so it's not done bad. When the T-Rex is not underwater or submerged or anything like that, it looks pretty bad. But, you know, this dude is usually pretty good at getting shots that kind of make you feel like you're really there. And there are moments where somebody will say something and they're turned this way, you know, obvious ADR, but it's not as bad as others, which is a weird compliment to give nowadays. Just every blockbuster, big budget film is going to have these really obvious moments. I feel like everybody can tell, but as they go, they're edited together better. You know, like it looks like they're finished, you know, the whole line won't be said like this and then be done. And then you cut back to him reacting. Like, it looks like they're at least finishing a line while an obvious ADR is put over it or a line from somewhere else is edited over it. So I'll give it that. And now, like I said, there is an occasional good reveal for the dinosaur. Probably the most suspenseful scene is when they're going through the jungle and they showed there are some dinosaurs that can blend in pretty well with the jungle. And the jungle, the one they picked was a really good one because there's all sorts of weird things protruding out that, some look kind of spiky, some look, like I don't know, little, just bits of wood that are cut a certain way that almost look like the top of a dinosaur's head or something like that. When a scene starts, you'll see something like go in the water. What was that? Is that thing going to pop up again? So those moments are really set up well, I should say. A lot of them don't always have a payoff, but they're set up well. And like I said, he is going to make you feel like you are kind of there. But then they'll throw in stuff. I'm just realizing this now because when I saw the trailer, I saw them like in a temple, like out of Indiana Jones. And again, I thought, oh, okay, well, they're going to go silly. They're going to go really big and goofy with this. All right, let's do that. But at some point, someone just says, what was this, a temple? Huh. Anyway, and they never talk about it again. The temple plays no part in anything. There's so many moments like that where you think it's going to go somewhere, and it doesn't. There's one moment where they're leaning against... this is more of a personal thing, but they're leaning against, what looks like this giant root of a tree, and I'm thinking to myself, it's going to be a dinosaur tail, watch. And it's not. And I'm thinking to myself, did I think of a better scare than the movie is? There's a cute little, it looks like a triceratops, chihuahua or something that the little girl finds, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna call you Dolores, and she keeps it in her backpack, which is obviously done just to sell toys. That goes nowhere. There's an ADR line where they say, oh, you're not talking now, I don't know, I guess they just realized the little kid doesn't talk for a while, so they're like, well, we should probably say that in ADR line. Oh, you're not talking now? Okay. And then she feeds the dinosaur and she says, I'm gonna call her Dolores, and it's like, oh, you're talking again? It's like, I forgot she even wasn't talking. I so don't care about anything in this or anyone. Man, I'm trying to think what else to say. It was just such a... It's funny because I sound so angry, and I think it's like when I saw the Mulan live-action remake, that's nowhere near the worst one I've seen. Honestly, as the live-action remakes go, it's kind of one of the ones that's not as offensive. It looked nice. There's kind of good pacing to it and everything. But the core wasn't good. The core was just so bad to it, because she was already perfect, and that's not what the character was about. I just feel like the same thing here. Sometimes it looks nice. There's good reveals. There's some good performance. All the actors are trying. There's some good pacing in when the dinosaurs, again, are either underwater or next to water. I don't know why that's the secret formula here, but, there's usually something fun going on or they look good. But the core of it is just so stupid and so dumb, and there's only one point where they try to tie in the whole healthcare connection to dinosaurs, where there's a short conversation about extinction, and how long dinosaurs have been around, how long we've been around, is intelligence actually good for survival? And just that one little conversation that they started upon, I'm like, boy, there's something there. And I love to see that, dive into more, but instead we have to make our very obvious healthcare commentary, which, that ties in a little bit into it. But man, if they just studied that idea instead of just really making it about this very obvious, you might as well just put in a tweet, just this protest about current healthcare. That would have been more interesting, but they don't. They just spell out everything in a really, really obvious way. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of something that should be so easily entertaining, botching it every single time, and every doofus who pretends that they're really looking at a dinosaur when it's just so obviously fake and not that creative falls for it. So, and then we have something original like Elio comes out, which I enjoyed. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoy it, and people just ignore it and don't give it the time of day, and that's really a shame. Yet we complain how we're sick of seeing stuff that's not original, everything's a sequel or reboot. Yeah, go see them and stop seeing the crappy remakes and reboots and sequels. So, I don't know. I think it's a frustration of all that, because I really did not plan to be this angry talking about it. But something about when I turned the camera on and I started, just seeing this pattern repeat over and over and over. Yeah, something just snapped. I think it's something where years ago I talked about sort of like I call it the dark ages of cinema, but I really shouldn't call it that. I should call it the dark age of summer movies. And again, I think it was either 96 or 98 to 2001, 2002, something like that, where it was just expected summer movies were supposed to be bad. Because there was such a focus on CG and getting, now we can make anything and the effects are all we need. We didn't need good characters, good stories or anything. We just need a good monster or a good disaster, a good effect or a good enough effect. Because again, some of them don't really hold up. But then stuff like Lord of the Rings came around and people were sort of taking more chances on stuff. And, it got interesting again. There was variety again. And obviously we got into comic book movies, universes, and stuff like that. That was a thing for a while. And now it just really seems to be sequels and remakes. I mean, I don't need to tell you, pretty much majority of movies coming out are either a sequel or a remake, or at the very least based on an existing IP. But that I'm a little bit more lenient about because we've had that for a long time, just adaptations of classic stories and musicals and so forth. So I'm a little bit more lenient about that. But yeah, it's the fact that we keep falling for it. And I don't know, maybe this film won't do well. Man, wouldn't it be great if it didn't? And I hate saying that because I know people worked hard on it and everything, but just there's so many people out there that have good original ideas that could really challenge us and really make us think and entertain at the same time. And we're just pushing it to the side because fake dinosaurs, oh my God! And I don't follow it. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I don't follow it. Yeah, I don't know what this did to set off some sort of reflex in my brain just to get me really pissed off about this, because I really wasn't this pissed off when I left. But it's a very empty movie. It's a very forced movie. People make all the stupid mistakes you would expect them to make in a Jurassic Park sequel. And you don't really care about that many people. I don't know why the family was shoehorned in to this. There's so many things where I'm like, what was the point of that? Why was that there? Why was that fun? Why was that interesting? So I can say the acting is all trying. There's a few good reveals with the dinosaurs and the effects, and some once in a while you get a good creative looking dinosaur, but it's really not often. And again, anything with water, for some reason, usually leads to a pretty good scene. At the very least, an entertaining scene. I shouldn't say they look real, but it is entertaining. Maybe there's... because that is like another obstacle in the way. Obviously, it's hard to move. In water, you're going to move slower. These things are bigger. They can move faster. Some of the dinosaurs live underwater, so they can obviously move faster. So those moments, at the very least, were entertaining. Outside of that, man, yeah, there's nothing. This is just an empty nothing movie that, again, is acting like we're going to say something nobody else is saying or doing, and we've just heard it to death. But what did you think? Did you enjoy it? Because I guess I shouldn't be too mean. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe there is something to the wonder of wanting to see dinosaurs again. We never have seen them, have we? I mean, we're just assuming this is what they look like. We have the bones, but we don't know how much fat or anything is on it. There's some great... I'm sure you've seen these online where there's animals it went by their bones only and sort of showed them like how we assume dinosaurs, like, show like a bear or a cat, or a raccoon or something like that. And they're all like really super scrawny and like close to the bone. They look entirely different. So something about actually seeing these in real life, maybe that's enough for people. Maybe that's enough to be like, wow, holy smokes. And I don't know, maybe I'm missing that wonder. But I feel like I got that wonder in the first film. I still remember it. And on top of that, it gave us a good story, good characters, good ideas, and that's why they're making a million of these sequels years later, because I think we remember that first film, but yeah, maybe just the wonder of wanting to see dinosaurs is still there, and it's not enough for me. I need an actual good movie to go along with it. So I know you probably think I'm giving this 0 stars. I wouldn't say that. I'd probably say 2 out of 4, which is definitely a negative review, but I've given the other Jurassic Park sequels lower reviews. I'm just done. I'm so done with them. And I think there's always something, too, that tricks me into thinking, there might be something, like they're going to finally have fun with the designs of the dinosaurs. And again, they do. But it's just them on an island, running away, doing the same stupid stuff they always do. And if that's your thing, you're going to get it. You're going to get a whole much more of that. But it does not do it for me at all. So... If you did see this movie, what did you think? Am I completely wrong? Do you think that it actually takes the ideas and does take it to a whole new level, and it was creative and the commentary was great and it was needed and it tied into the dinosaurs wonderfully? Or do you think this is the worst of the Jurassic Park sequels? Do you think they're just out of ideas and they look awful and nothing worked? This is the, absolute worst of all of them. Or are you somewhere in between where you're just like, I love dinosaurs. I love seeing them. I love, just imagining that they're here, even if they look like they're not really there. And that's enough for me. And maybe the characters and story were just good enough for you. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go try to take a nap to calm down because I weirdly got super mad at this. With that said, thank you so much again. I'll see you next time. Take care.